You were there for a year. And how old were you when you were at the Hafiz school?
Wow, I believe I was either 16, I think I was 16 or 18.
Okay, 16 or 18. And you had a fight, which, by the way, you're going to have to remember that one. I can just tell you what I saw. All right.
Okay.
And so you're going to have to remember, because my advice to you about the situation you just explained, all right, you're going to have to use the same tactic. All right. Big,
All right.
you know what I mean? Hey, there you go. Big tip for you. Hot tip. But basically, I was at the Brother Abdul Haq's, because, you know, the Hafiz school was like, if you go into the land, you know, how it's on the right,
Yeah.
and then, you know, you'll have to walk through a brief set of trees to get to Brother Abdul Haq's spot. So I was at Brother Abdul Haq's, and all of a sudden, I got called to the Hafiz school because there was a fight going on. And I said, who is fighting? As I was walking through the bushes. And they were like, Hafiz, Hafiz. It's Big Saif. I was like, oh no, that big boy. How much did he weigh?
A lot. It was like over 200 pounds when we were kids.
And he was from the Bronx or something, right? Queens. He was
Yeah,
from.
he's from New York.
So, you know, New Yorkers are usually, because he had looked at me in the eye a couple of times, you know.
Yeah.
So listen, I was worried. I gotta be honest. I was very, very worried. I said, he is fighting who? Mehboob, Hafiz Mehboob.
I remember now. I'm trying to remember.
Okay, good. And so when I got there, I could not believe my eyes. I just could say Alhamdulillah. Do you remember me walking up and actually breaking the two of you apart?
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Were you happy to see you? Were you happy to see yours truly?
You said what?
Were you happy to see me? Were you happy to see yours truly?
Yeah. I had him in a headlock. I had a situation was fine.
Listen, you not only had him in a headlock, you had him in a leg lock. You had him twisted. You were on the back of him. No, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, you had him in a headlock. You had him in a leg lock, so it was tight around his waist, right? And you had him on the ground. All right.
Yeah.
And I was like, Alhamdulillah, at least somebody's in control here. At least nobody's bleeding. I was happier to see you, is my point. I was happier that you were in. Because again, he was, like you said, a good 200 pounds.
Yeah, he was big.
And he was also vicious. He was remember, because he had punched a hole in the wall at the Hafiz school.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, we had some people coming from Richmond to to put their kids in a school, and I got last minute wind of it, and I had to call Hussein Haq, as you mentioned. I had to call him to do something with that hole in the wall. So he covered it up with a picture. It's fun. Hey man, I mean, this was the Hafiz school. And, you know, again, like the whole Hafiz mission is very, very, very interesting. Like the whole, you know, journey of the Hafiz, you know. Some of it's in Memoirs of a Hafiz, the book that was written and published in 2019, I think it was, you know. But Alhamdulillah, but that's, so you need, whatever you did, I mean, I know you got, I mean, I don't know how you got him down on the ground. How'd you get him on the ground?
I used to do wrestling and everything like that.
Okay.
You know, and so I have good you know skills with grappling and everything like that, like jiu-jitsu and all that. So I just used his body, and once he lost his balance, I got him on the ground, and that was a wrap. He's used to fighting standing up and everything like that.
Ah, you're right. You're right. So when you got him on the ground, was he like a big bubble? You just knew how to manipulate.
It was hard to move him, and he was actually almost in a way getting. I mean, I wasn't trying to hurt him though.
Right. No, that's what I saw. I saw you. I said somebody's in control. I was happy.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, the guy was vicious. He punched a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He weighed 200 pounds. Anything was possible. But, and again, he was bigger than you.
Yeah,
He
he was.
was he was way bigger than you, and you were that quiet guy again who I found in my room trying to at after Maghrib.
Yeah.
After Maghrib, I walk in the room. Nobody else is there. I'm about to. Do I go to the bath? I cannot remember if I walked directly in to the bathroom or if I wasn't able to get even there. And as I turned around, I was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm studying the. And you said I'm studying the Hafiz.
Yeah. Gotta study him.
I don't know what you learned. I wish one day you would share it with me. I'm still trying to learn the Hafiz.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, it's just one of those things where you just learn about somebody.
Mm.
But so as it relates to my situation, you're saying basically I need to.
Yes, yeah, you'll have to, because actually they have you to kneel, and actually technically, since they were the only, I mean, they got you 3-kneel now, so you will have to use the same ingenuity to, because this is life and death we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, people need to understand that what we do here, we're going to
They got me 3 meals.
3 meals. Well, what I'm saying is that, okay, so if, let's say you say somebody is out the picture, right? You say this person is out the picture, and first thing I'm like, whoa, if they're out the picture, they gotta be like, they gotta be 6 feet under to be out there. I'm telling you, if it was 6 feet under, I'd be like, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. You would have heard that, but it's not. If they were literally, completely given up on their, on their children, then that would also have been a very, like they said, okay, we've renounced our American citizenship. We don't want to have anything to do. We're signing all rights over to the kids, of the kids. And all right, so those are 2. But again, you will have to use your ingenuity, your skill, and you'll have to use a lot of patience, because you have to be very, very, very articulate when dealing. But just be patient and be. But I think you're doing the right thing. Be courageous. Why not? Be courageous. The Prophet was courageous, and that's crazy. Like, we don't hear of the fact that the Prophet ﷺ was extremely brave, extremely courageous, extremely disciplined. We don't hear these type of, resilience of from his military legacy, or from the Madani period. Like, everything you hear about the Madani period is still like at the very early stages. This is how Muslims made hijrah, and when they got to Medina, this is how they became one with all the Muslims in Medina. That's really the message that you'll get from hearing about the Madani period. But you will not get the real message, which is actually, right, the entire Madani period, including his last breath, okay, was a military period. That's the problem. They've taken that literally out and, have fed it to the masses. So now if people are talking real soft, and if they're really like quiet, they don't say anything, then they're like, yes, this is how Prophet talked. If they speak up and they firm, they're like, wait a second, Prophet did not talk like that. You need to get, so, it's a denial of the fact that he was actually very, very clear spoken. He was very firm, and when he knew that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and he himself was willing to sacrifice even his own daughter's hand if she stole. This is how firm he was about it. So people, they're getting, again, Allah is rahmah, but they do not want to accept Allah also has the severest punishment ever. No one has a worse punishment than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what they want to get out. The whole, judgment law that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks and doctrinates in the Quran for those who submit to him to have. They don't want to have anything to do with that. But they will compromise the bigger picture of al-Islam. They'll compromise the term al-Islam so they can satisfy non-Muslims. You know, just look at the settings, how they have the organization set and what plans that they have, how they justify why they're doing what they're doing, because Christians do the same thing, other religious organizations do the same thing. That's why we're doing it this way. But Allah Ta'ala never told you that. You know, He promised you success and victory. And the honor that He gave to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you did what he did, He spread Islam, the pure Islam, for everybody to see and to live by. And you're saying that it was too long ago, that's why you're living by other things. Astaghfirullah. But anyway, inshallah, I think we'll pick up another time, you know. But it was a very, very good conversation, you know, very, very, very important. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
So we'll talk inshallah.
All right.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.